Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is your AEW Dynamite review show for Wednesday, March 30th. Tonight on the show, Tony Storm is all elite. Is CM Punk headed for a world title match with Hangman? And FTR, are they leaving MJF and the Pinnacle? Yes, indeed. I'm here and Johnny's here. What's up, Johnny? How'd you like Dynamite tonight?
Well, I felt this was a more balanced show. I felt last week, first hour was way too strong for the second hour. This felt it was all right. Not exactly like the best episode of Dynamite, but
yeah,
I thought start to finish, I wasn't bored or unexcited by anything that really went down tonight. I thought it was solid tonight.
I think the review of "it was all right" is pretty much how I feel. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen. It was all right. When you open up with CM Punk and the pop that he got, it's a good way to start the show. And this was a rare episode of Dynamite where the show started off hot, and it didn't fizzle out by the end. I actually thought the main event was maybe the best match we saw all night, although we did see some good matches. What did you think was the best match tonight? What was your favorite match of the night?
Well, I did like the main event, but I feel like all the stuff that happened before the match actually started kind of actually took away from the match because it was a little too long on the outside doing that stuff. It was fine doing the dive to the outside. Darby got a bit more advantage coming back, but then when they did the whole thing with the steps, that kind of dragged way too much. And it felt like that was 5 minutes just doing that before the match even started. I felt it took away from it a bit. Okay, there's a beat down, but that was a kind of dragged on a little bit too long. So I thought that kind of took away a bit from the match. And it was still a good match. But I think my favorite match probably would have to be Jay Lethal against Moxley.
Huh. Yeah, that was pretty good. I want to talk about the Andrade thing first. I thought that match was very good. It might be my match of the night. I kind of count Andrade diving on Darby while Darby was coming to the ring on his skateboard as part of the match. I know the bell.
I have no problem with the dive. Dive's fine.
But all the brawling on the outside and all that stuff, I counted it as part of the match. I know the bell didn't ring until, a few minutes in, but I don't know. It didn't bother me. It made sense. Showed Andrade as the heel, attacking Darby before he was ready. But, Darby, if you're going to be riding a skateboard to the ring, you got to figure somebody's going to try and knock you off of it at some point. And, I thought the match was good. Jose coming down to the ring. Of course, there was a whole post-match fiasco. But I liked the main event. I thought the main event was really good. Sting comes out to attack Jose. Did you notice when Sting ran down the ramp, he was running a little too fast, clotheslined Jose, and kind of fell right into the ring?
If you notice, Jeff Hardy, too, when he did his running, too, he kind of had to, stop a little bit. Because, I think that ramp, for whatever reason, it's really hard to, actually run down.
I think it's too steep and too close to the ring. I think that's the problem.
Right.
When you run down it, it's a little too steep, and then you don't have enough kind of straight away to slow yourself down before you hit the ring. So the ring's kind of like where you bounce off and stop yourself, but it looks kind of silly. Anyhow, Butcher and the Blade came out to attack Sting during the match. Darby decides to save Sting, hits a dive on Butcher and the Blade, but then goes back into the ring and gets hit with Andrade's El Idolo DDT for the pinfall finish. Andrade gets the win over Darby with a little bit of interference from Goons. Sting tried to check on Darby after the match, and I thought, that's a bad idea, Sting. You got 3 guys in the ring that have proven that they're willing to attack you, and you're just going to stand there in the ring and wait for it. And, of course, they did attack Sting while he tended to the beaten Darby. Private Party came out, and I was like, are they here to save Sting? And then it was like, no, they're with Andrade, and they joined in on the beatdown. And then you remember, oh, yes, the Hardys. And then the Hardys show up, big pop, they save Sting. Mark Quinn got stuck in the ring somehow, and Matt hit him with a twist of fate, and Jeff hit the swanton, and everybody was going bananas in the Carolinas tonight in the main event. It was fun. Hardys and Sting and Darby have this whole thing going on. Darby and Andrade was good. A lot of times these main events on Dynamite don't really deliver. This one was very good. You know, a lot of times like the first match is way better than the last, but like you say, Moxley and Lethal was your favorite, and that's fine, but honestly, if you would have said this match, the Andrade Darby was your favorite, or Moxley and Lethal, or Punk and Max Caster, or Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta, all of that would have made sense to me. Like, I thought all the matches we saw tonight were pretty good. I didn't think any of them were 10s. I thought we saw a lot of, 6s and 7s. But no 2s or 3s, you know what I mean? Or if you're using the Meltzer scale, we saw a lot of 3s on 5s, you know? Didn't see a lot of 1s, a lot of 3s, 3.5s. Maybe even a 4 if you're being generous. But I didn't think anything was mind-blowing match of the year type stuff, but I thought everybody came out and had a good performance. It was hard for me to pick one match over the other. Moxley and Lethal was good, though, John. I thought that was really good. What's the story with the Hardys and Andrade and the Butcher and Blade? Like, haven't they done that already? Didn't they have a big multi-man match? Why is this still going on?
Well, they did the tag against Private Party, right? That was the first week.
Uh-huh.
And then they did the 8-man tag. And
Right.
now they're going to do the table match because they haven't done a tables match yet. And I guess it's to get revenge for the fact that Jeff put them both through a table in that 8-man tag.
But to me, the 8-man tag, Hardys, Darby, Sting versus Andrade, who was it? Butcher, Blade, and what was it?
I believe it was just Cassidy. It wasn't Quinn, I think. Or was it just Quinn or Cassidy? Something like
Andrade, Cassidy, and Butcher and Blade, right? Like, to me, that's the payoff match because you have two teams, you know, both sides. Because that's the whole feud, right? Like, it's the Hardys and Sting and Darby against these guys. The Andrade fellows, right? And I feel like we've already had the big kind of this super team versus this super team match where they're, you know, Jeff Hardy's diving off stuff. Now these other matches just feel like, you know, this is the remnants of the feud. It's just kind of the crumbs left over. It's weird. I felt like that they, you know, they should be doing the kind of the tables match with Butcher and Blade and the Darby Andrade singles match leading up to the big 8-man tag with Sting and Darby and everything. But that's not how they're doing it. So now I'm wondering, like, what is left to do here? Like, what's the payoff now?
Well, I think, one, it's just to help build up the Hardys' record right now. Because, like, they've only won one tag match, technically. I guess you could say two in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is to give them 3 wins as a tag team. And I'm guessing as well, like, Matt Hardy and Andrade are also going to have a match because that's really where it all started. So that needs to kind of happen. And I guess until we get to that point where they're finally them in the ring against each other in some capacity, until we get to that point, I don't think it ends until that happens.
Matt Hardy versus Andrade is the payoff to this?
I think so.
Oof.
Or, I mean, Andrade was somebody against the Hardys.
I thought maybe the Hardys... Like, the Hardys against Sting and Darby at some point makes sense, but I don't see either team's turning heel.
Right.
You know?
It's too soon for that. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day, but probably not during this incarnation of both teams, right? Not during this program, this run.
Right.
Shout out to Doug Hepburn on the chat. He says he sees what we mean when Jeff Hardy does the swanton. Yeah, it's a sickening thud. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis, members of the team. Don't forget to become a member. Join.ringsidereport.net if you have not joined the program yet. Support the Ringside Report Network. Hit us up on Super Chat if you got a question, if you got a comment on the show you want us to read, you want to join the show. And if you are a member, you can join the show. You can call in. I know Angelo usually calls in on Wednesday nights. Click that join button beneath me. Support the Ringside Report Network. We got a big weekend of shows. I'm going to sit through WrestleMania for you guys. So, support the Ringside Report Network because Johnny and I are going to sit through WrestleMania, 2 nights of WrestleMania this weekend, and come on afterwards and talk about it. That's a lot of hours that we're dedicating to WrestleMania for the Ringside Report Network. We're not doing it because we want to watch WrestleMania,
I do.
I barely wanted to watch Dynamite tonight, if I'm honest. I don't know.
Wow, that's surprising. I don't know. I thought tonight was good. It was worth watching.
I wanted to know, when I saw the match listing, I was like, Bryan and Wheeler, Yuta. And then I was like, the Bunny against a new signee to AEW. I was like, I wonder if they have Toni Storm. And then they did. And that's pretty much all I wanted to see. Will they have Toni Storm? Who is the new addition to the women's division? And it was Toni Storm. And I think that's good. But everything else that they advertised for the show tonight, wasn't really, this is why they kind of draw the same rating every week, because they're not advertising anything that's going to make you tune in. Going to make somebody that's not already going to tune in. The million or so people they have watching in the States is pretty much the same million that's watching every week. It's nerds like me and you, John. And they're not throwing anything out, promoting anything that makes you go, oh my God, I have to tune in. They're not. You're telling me the average wrestling fan who may not be tuning into AEW on a weekly basis is going to see Bryan Danielson versus Wheeler Yuta and think, oh my God, I must see this? No, they're going to say, who the hell is Wheeler Yuta? Sounds like a guy that Bryan Danielson's going to beat. Did he ever? Even Max Caster, he's a no-name guy. If you're an AEW fan, you love him because he's great. But if you're not, you have no idea who he is. No idea.
I have no doubt about that. But still, we saw some good action tonight. They made use of what they had to work with, I found.
Yeah, but they don't... I don't know. There's not enough sizzle. There's a lot of good steak, though, in AEW, but there's very little sizzle. They don't kind of hype you up for things. There's no... And I think a lot of it is the overall direction of what's going on. Maybe if they put the title on Punk, things will kind of fix themselves. How about that? CM Punk came out to a massive pop to start the show tonight. Max Caster did another tremendous promo. Mentioned Will Smith. Mentioned all sorts of things. Great promo, rap promo, diss promo on Punk. And I feel like now when Anthony Bowens, whose name I now know, the tag team is, you know what I mean? The tag team is over when they first came in, they were the John Cena guys. You didn't even know that one of them rapped and one of them didn't. You just knew that they were the rapping team, right? You didn't know that they were called the Acclaimed. You didn't know anything. You knew that the Young Bucks called them the John Cena guys, and you're like, yeah, these jabronis, the John Cena guys. Now, not only do I know that their tag team name is the Acclaimed, not only do I know Max Caster and Anthony Bowen's names individually, but I think that I, like many others, are really getting into these guys. And when Bowen says, "The Acclaimed have arrived," I feel like a lot of people are saying it with them. I'm at home on the couch by myself. I'm yelling it. People in my house are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "The Acclaimed have arrived." And I'm very excited about the Acclaimed. And then I'm told to calm down. And then I do. And then I stay pretty calm for the rest of the show. But my God, did the Acclaim get me excited. That promo the Caster does, tremendous. What an act. Top-level act. And Caster, of course, lost to CM Punk after a pile driver and an Anaconda Vice. Punk had a little trouble picking Caster up for that pile driver at the end. Kind of slipped out. But he got there. He got there. And I was a little worried, though, when he kind of had trouble picking him up. When he finally did pick him up and drop him down, it was kind of quick, and I was like, be careful. I know you're doing the Owen Hart Memorial Cup later on, but let's not pull an Owen Hart on Max Caster here and Stone Cold the guy's neck, shall we? No disrespect.
Was a tombstone, by the way.
Yeah, I know. JR called it a tombstone, right? Was it a tombstone? Owens, you're saying.
It was not a tombstone.
Oh, Owens.
Yeah. He did call this a tombstone. This was not a tombstone.
Yeah, JR called it a tombstone, though. You're confusing me, John. Stop saying tombstone. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Jim Ross called CM Punk's pile driver a tombstone pile driver. But it's not. It was a regular pile driver, but you're saying Owen Hart, what he hit Stone Cold with, was a reverse tombstone? No.
Yeah. Well, no.
Was it?
It was
a pile driver. Wasn't it a jumping?
Tombstone jumping pile driver.
Tombstone jumping. Jumping tombstone. Yes. When the tombstones are jumping, you got zombies. You got a zombie infestation. You start seeing those jumping tombstones, you got to watch out for zombies. What?
Steve Austin almost turned into a zombie. It was really bad.
Correct. What I'm saying is CM Punk hit that pile driver real nice on Max Caster. It looked rough. I hope Caster's okay. I'm sure he is. How about those guys, the Acclaimed? They have arrived. In my hearts. In my heart. In my hearts. I don't know why I said plural hearts, but yeah. All right. I'll go with it. You like those guys? All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, my family's annoyed. They're like, why are you still yelling about the Acclaimed? Because they've arrived! That's why. God damn it.
Well, I think they're fine. And I think this is just a good experience for Caster right now. To wrestle a guy like Punk, he hasn't had big-time matches like this. He's usually in tag matches, so this is probably top level, the highest he's ever been. So I think it's a good experience for him, but you can kind of tell too he's not as used to wrestling singles as a tag team. I felt he almost was a bit tired near the end, actually. I think maybe he wasn't actually helping Punk. I think he may have been a bit gassed there on the pile driver, possibly. So
yeah, it did look like Caster was a little kind of huffing and puffing. I did notice that.
He's a tag wrestler. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But I like the match, and his promos are ridiculously good. His promos are so good. Punk too.
It was
Punk's
good.
Pretty.
The Z-Pack thing that he said, that's good stuff.
That was
Usually
really
people
good.
Don't get to say stuff on Punk, so yeah.
Dropped some tremendous lines on CM Punk saying, the only time I'm gonna go to sleep is when I'm watching one of your movies. Killing it. Just hitting shots at CM Punk. Fantastic stuff. And then CM Punk was interviewed after the match. He was doing the belt around the waist thing. And Tony Schiavone was like, CM Punk, what do you mean about, what is that symbol? What are you doing when you do that? What are you talking about? And Punk's like, well, what do you people think I'm talking about? And it's like, CM Punk, see. They start chanting his name, and he's like, I want to be champion. You know? It's kind of weird. Schiavone like, what does this mean, Punk? It's like, people have been doing it forever, Schiavone. Where the hell have you been? And then Punk's like, well, let's ask the people. The people are like, your name. And he's like, yeah, so Hangman, I would like to wrestle you, cowboy shit. Okay.
Or Cole.
Did he say or Cole? I didn't even notice that. Why would he mention
He
Adam
did say
Cole?
that, yeah.
That's a joke. So they're going to wrestle again, Hangman and Cole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You sound excited about that.
I think people are actually excited for that. I know you're not really excited for that, but I think people actually want to see this match. And as we saw from the promo tonight, it's definitely going to happen. And I thought they had one of the best matches at the pay-per-view, too.
Yeah.
So when I can watch one of their matches and I'm not, like, trying not to fall asleep, I think I might enjoy it even more.
Yeah, when it's not after like a 3.5 hour pay-per-view and it's 2 a.m. or whatever. Yeah, I
Right.
think Cole and Hangman will have a very good match. I just, whatever. I don't see a point because I don't think Cole will win the title. And I think Punk versus Hangman at the pay-per-view in May makes a lot of sense. Punk says before his time is done in AEW, he's going to have a whole lot more scars. And before his time is done in AEW, he will be the world champion. So there it is. CM Punk making his intentions clear, and I think it will be Punk versus Hangman in May at whatever that pay-per-view is called.
Double or Nothing.
There you go.
I think it's kind of funny how we talked about how it's got to be Punk versus Bryan at some point for the title, and it possibly still can be, just not who we thought would be the champion going into that match.
Ah. Yeah, I can see that too. Punk versus Bryan with Punk as the champion eventually. I'd be happy with that when they finally do meet. Yeah. It's for the title. I'd be good with that.
It would be very interesting. I think it would probably be the match. I think it's the match you need to do for Punk, really. Because you're not going to do MJF for a while, more than likely. And I don't know about Jericho right now. Like, Jericho seems to be busy with A. Kingston right now, so that's probably going to last a while. I don't see Jericho winning off that match with Eddie Kingston, too, though. So...
Who won at the pay-per-view?
It was Kingston.
So, shouldn't Jericho get one back?
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna do like a whole tag thing, right?
Yeah.
More likely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think they're not gonna win. I think Kingston and Santana Ortiz are still gonna win. Jericho won't take the fall, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
How about CM Punk though and Hangman? Do you think Punk takes the belt from Hangman if they do wrestle in May for Double or Nothing? Like, is this when Punk takes it?
I feel so. Like, I can't think of anyone. Who else would beat Hangman? If not Punk, then who?
I don't know.
I think it just...
Malachi Black.
Perfect.
Keith Lee.
Nah. That's TNT title level.
Yeah, no, I agree. MJF.
If it was going to be MJF, he'd be the one getting the shot right now, but he's not. So, unfortunately, not going to be him right now.
Well, why couldn't Hangman beat Punk and then eventually lose it to MJF?
Oh, sure, it could happen, but I just feel like the timing's now for Punk.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I felt that way about Bryan Danielson. Look what happened.
Yeah, but that wasn't a pay-per-view match, though. That's the only thing that really hurt Bryan, I found. It was just like a Dynamite. A good Dynamite, but still.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not too sure I could see Punk winning, but I could also see him losing. In Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, Double or Nothing, May 29th. Looks like that's
Still
where
not
we're
confirmed
headed. Huh?
that the match will happen. It's still
No,
not confirmed the
but
match will happen there.
come on. Come on. Punk's talking about the title. Hangman's got to get through this little thing with Adam Cole while we wait. Once he's done with that, we're off to the races. Punk versus Hangman at the next pay-per-view. It's not official, but let's make it official here on the show. Let's break some news, John. Come on. What are you waiting for? Give it your stamp of official. Stamp of official, John.
I wouldn't do that because, as we've seen with AEW, they kind of like to change things up every now and then. But
I'll do it.
I would feel it's like 70-30. It's probably going to happen this way.
Stamp of official. I'm giving it the Dave stamp of official. Deal with it, John. It's happening at the pay-per-view. Punk versus Hangman. Adam Cole will not be involved, nor should he be. MJF is having problems with the FTR. Wardlow is not being allowed into the arena. And the FTR, they're still friends with Wardlow because he was a member of their group, even though he was just MJF's bodyguard. And MJF says, hey, you guys are my family, and Wardlow used to talk shit about you behind your back, and FTR don't really seem to believe MJF.
It's good stuff, though.
What?
That was good, though, saying like, oh, he always talked crap behind your back all the time. That's good stuff. It's good being heel.
Yeah, it was good heel stuff. Very see-through, though, from MJF. He comes out to do commentary during the FTR versus Ass Boys match. Is that their official tag team name now? The Ass Boys, Billy Gunn's children, the Mr.
I believe
Ass's
it's the
kids?
Gun Club.
Oh. The Ass Club? The Gun Club. I'm calling them the Ass Boys. I think everybody's calling them the Ass Boys at this point. And they lost, obviously, because no team that's known as the Ass Boys is going to beat the FTR. You would hope. You would hope.
Yeah, I was scared for a little bit there because there's a bit of cheating involved, but it didn't work.
Yeah, but come on. Billy Gunn, he was cheating a bunch. Like a bunch getting involved in this match. Wardlow showed up at one point and started beating up security guards. And he started beating up some fake security guards as he walked down the stairs to the ringside area. And there were some fake security guards getting tossed down the stairs right next to the fans, and it felt a little dangerous. And I don't know if you noticed at one point, Wardlow's beating up these indie wrestler security guards, and there was a real security guard, kind of an older gentleman who didn't look like he could secure anything, but he was standing there too, kind of doing his actual job because, the arena has to have real security guards. So while Wardlow was beating up all these young, fit men, there was this older gentleman who was also a security guard kind of looking on like, pfft. I don't know if you caught it, but I noticed the guy, and he was not impressed. And he's like, try that shit on me, Wardlow. I'll kick your ass. And I was like, I don't know. He was just giving a look to Wardlow, and the security guy's like, couldn't do that to me. It was good. You didn't see that guy?
I didn't see that guy, but you say fit. Yeah, he fit, but extremely skinny security guards, not exactly intimidating whatsoever.
Yeah, but you should have seen the real security guard. Really not intimidating.
I imagine probably not impressive, but he knows how to do his job at least, and not just goes flying in the air just for a backhand or something.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a member on the air.
Yeah, I think we got Angelo giving us a call. What's up, Angelo?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Good. What's up, Angelo? What you got?
Just wanted to check out, see how you guys were doing, and also comment on a few things.
Yeah. What'd you think of the show tonight?
Not bad. I enjoyed Brian and Yuta.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not the best match, but it was okay. I like how their chests were just full red from all the chopping. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
Do
that
they
was a good
really get?
match.
Yeah, but how did their chest get so red from all those slaps? Do they actually can someone actually kind of bleed from those chops?
Yes, they can. John, you've bled from chops. I've seen you bleed from chops. John, of course, is a great pro wrestler. John, talk about chops and bleeding from chops and how red you get and how red you've made other people get and what that's like.
Well, basically, you just keep hitting someone in the chest over and over again, and it rips the skin pretty much.
Yeah.
And it starts off as a little tear, but you keep hitting it, the tear gets bigger and bigger, and as you saw what happened tonight, that's what happened. They kept chopping each other over and over again, so got some blood.
Yeah. If you hit the same spot over and over again, eventually you're going to tear the skin and bleed. And that's what happened. I've seen it happen to John. It was pretty violent stuff. And Bryan
It was a
Danielson,
long
you
time
know.
ago.
Yeah, I know. It was a while ago. You miss it, John. I know you need it. You need it to happen again to you.
Well,
Bryan
I feel
Danielson.
like I do it more to other people.
Yeah, your
than they do
chops
to
are
me,
vicious
but
too. Bryan takes it a lot, right?
I was surprised how much he took, given that Yuta's not exactly like a top star, but he gave him a lot of offense. I was surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. Bryan Danielson beats Wheeler Yuta tonight by crossface submission. Bryan did the kicking of the head in on Wheeler, and Wheeler was out. You could tell Wheeler was done. But then Bryan, I like how he finishes guys. Like, you could tell that they're done and he could beat them, but then he hits like 2 or 3 moves afterwards and then puts them in a submission hold so that the referee has to stop the match. He's beaten people by TKO, but then it turns into a submission. Like, he kicks the guy's head in a bunch of times, and you could tell he could just pin him there, but instead he's going to hit a gotch-style pile driver, and then he's going to put him in the crossface. And you know, as soon as he puts the crossface in, Yuta's like unconscious, and the referee just calls for the bell. But I like how Bryan's doing that. It's unique, you know. He's beating you up so severely before the finish, and then just applying the submission hold just as kind of a way to give you a way out of the beating that you're taking, right? Like, instead of pinning you, he's kind of letting you out of the match by putting you in a submission and letting the ref see that you're unconscious. It's cool. It's a cool style of finish.
It looked like a crippled crossface at the end there.
It was just a crossface. He didn't have the arm wrapped. It was just a crossface.
I also like how Yuta was just begging him, give me more, give me more, give me more. Like, he just wanted to keep on taking a beating.
Yeah, and they seem to be looking at Wheeler Yuta as a potential member of their group, right? William Regal was on commentary and was talking about how impressed he was with Yuta. I don't know. I mean, at this point, Yuta has left the best friends, or they've kicked him out of the group, and he seems to be begging to be in this group with Moxley and Bryan and Regal. I don't know if you let him in the group, though. I think you make an example. I think you make an example out of Wheeler Yuta, and you say, you know, you're not up to par. You're getting beat up, so you're not in the group. You got to make it like hard to get into. You know, you got to show right off the bat, like, we're not just going to beat you up and then let you in. No, you got to show us a little bit more. And Wheeler showed us something, but it wasn't good enough, so he's not in the group. I think that's a good way to establish the group as exclusive and elite. Not the elite, but you know what I'm saying. Just a high-level group.
Yeah, he's not elite enough to join the group. I don't think he'll get in, at least not now.
Yeah, I don't think he should get in. I think if he's in, it makes the group less valuable.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the show, Angelo?
Who would you want to join them if it was to happen?
Johnny Hungy?
Top quality.
I think you turn Johnny Hungy a little bit more serious and you have him go and you see what he can do. I think there's a lot of upside in Johnny Hungy. And I think if you took his comedy away from him, you'd force him to work a different way and maybe expose a different side of him, and maybe you get something out of it. But I think that he's over enough that if he turned on the Dark Order and joined up with Brian and Moxley and Regal, it'd be an interesting addition to the group. I'm a big fan of Johnny Hungies, and I think he'd be fun in that group. Other than that,
Johnny, who would you want in the group?
I don't know.
Well, I'd love to see Jay Lethal in the group, but I don't think that's going to happen off what we saw tonight, though. I feel Lethal is kind of, yeah, he doesn't fit. He's kind of strong on his own. They just got to give him something. They haven't given him anything yet. But I feel maybe a guy like Swerve Strickland, like he's really talented, but he doesn't really stand out that much. He has a decent promo, but I feel like he could be elevated by so much more by being in that group.
How about Tony Nese?
Yeah, I guess with Tony Nese, I don't know if he has the same charisma level, but maybe they don't really need that possibly in the group.
Yeah. Angelo, who do you want to see join them? Anybody?
Whoever you guys were saying would
Whoever.
probably be good examples. I mean, I can't think of one off the top.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And of course, what do you think of Toni Storm now in AEW? You think it's a big deal for the division, or she's not going to make much of an impact? Like, is this a big shift for the women's division, or is this just kind of like Ruby Riott coming in and cool at first, but after a month or so, it won't really matter?
Well, I don't know what's happened to Ruby Riott. Hasn't been seen on TV for a while, so
Exactly.
I would probably think this will probably just get excited at first, and then they'll just slowly take her off TV and maybe just put on a lower level show.
Yeah.
Or Dark Elevation or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I've always had high hopes for Toni Storm. I really thought Toni Storm was going to be a star in the WWE women's division. She's been somebody that I've been hoping AEW would sign because she's very talented. She's got everything that you would want as far as a wrestler, and I think that she's gonna.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think I think you might be. I think she's gonna make a big impact. I think she's gonna be bigger than Ruby Soho, but you never know. You never know. Sometimes people come into AEW and you think, wow, this is gonna be big, and they're gonna do this and that, and then you don't see them for months on end. So I'm not sure, but she gets a win tonight. Toni Storm is the surprise opponent for the Bunny, and she hits her Storm Zero pile driver finisher to qualify for the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. John, what'd you think of the Bunny versus Toni Storm? The match itself, then we could talk about Toni.
Well, at first it seemed like they had no chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then once the commercial break hit, I found Toni's really good, and you could tell it. I found in her WWE matches, she can make the endings exciting, and that's what it seemed like. It felt like the beginning they didn't really know what they were doing with each other, but the ending they knew to go. You hit something, I hit something, back and forth. She's able to get that down pretty well, and her finisher's not bad. It's something different. It stands out. I was fine with that match overall, given the sense that most AEW women matches are like the low point in the show. This didn't feel like the lowest point in the show.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was the best match that we saw tonight, but it was cool to see Toni Storm. Angelo, let me ask you something. Do you care about this Owen Hart tournament that they're doing? They're doing an Owen Hart men's and an Owen Hart women's tournament. I love Owen Hart just as much as the next guy, probably more than the next guy. But does this tournament mean anything to you?
I don't know what the purpose of it is. What
Exactly.
does the winner get in the end? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it's great that they're doing something to honor him, but Does the winner of both the men's and women's tournament actually win anything?
I mean, probably a
Missing
trophy.
something.
I'm guessing a
That's
trophy.
about it.
I don't know. I have no idea. John, you're wearing the Owen Hart T-shirt. You must have information.
Well, even JR said he had no idea about that as well. So that's something we're just gonna have to wait and find out. I mean, the tournament hasn't really started yet. This was a qualifying match.
Yeah.
The tournament's only supposed to start later on.
Right.
So
Qualifying
hopefully by then
match.
they'll have it figured out.
I guess they're
qualifying
probably
match.
they're probably just filling in the brackets.
Qualifying match
Right.
for a tournament. Who cares if you're in it or not? Nobody knows what you win. Oh, I really care about this qualifying match. Why? Oh, because I want to be in the Owen Hart tournament. Why? Because I want to win the Owen Hart tournament. Why? I think I might win a trophy. I don't know. Right? Like you got to have a reason at the end. Why do I want to win the Owen Hart tournament? Because the winner of the Owen Hart tournament gets a championship match against the champion of their choosing. Because the winner of the Owen Hart tournament gets to be number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Because the winner of the Owen Hart tournament, gets to punch Tony Khan in his balls on TV for real. Like something. You get something. What do you get? You get to talk to Angelo on Wrestling Uncensored. What do you give me something? Give me a goddamn prize in the end. Even JR, the lead commentary man, the voice of wrestling, he has no idea what you win when you win this stupid tournament.
I don't think anybody there knows what they're going to get if anybody. One other question before I let you go, guys.
Yeah.
You can finish the show. What do you make of a possible MJF Wardlow match down the line, given the current situation?
I think Wardlow looked bad against Scorpio Sky and getting ejected from the AEW and the Pinnacle and all that stuff. I feel like he looked kind of bad tonight when he did fight the security, but eventually got dragged away by the security. I think he needs a win, and MJF kind of beats everybody. He doesn't really... he did lose to Punk, I guess, with help from Wardlow, but I feel like Wardlow needs a big win, and a win over MJF would help him a lot. Because if he loses to MJF... I don't know where he goes after that. I think if he loses to MJF, he kind of stays in that mid-card limbo until his career ends or he runs his contract out and goes to WWE or something, right? Doesn't Wardlow have to beat MJF when they finally do have the match, which probably takes place at the pay-per-view, if not before?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hurdles MJF's going to throw at him, right? And that probably means he's going to have to wrestle quite a few matches. Probably has to get quite a few amount of wins.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time he gets to the
like
pay-per-view,
he did with Jericho, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Punk.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll put Wardlow through the paces. But Wardlow should win in the end, right? He should beat MJF.
But it's MJF, though, so I wouldn't put it past that he's going to win because...
Yeah. Apparently there was heat with
Wait
MJF. MJF did an interview with Ariel Helwani, and it wasn't cleared by AEW, and MJF was talking about leaving AEW in 2024, I think, and going to WWE. Apparently got in a bit of trouble, but everything's all right. And I think it was mostly in character. I think the real issue, according to Fightful, I think was the report, was that MJF didn't get the interview cleared by AEW's PR team. Whatever that means. But I think MJF is a top talent who's kind of over enough and could lose to Wardlow. I don't think Wardlow's that over. Like, if you told me MJF was going to be the next AEW World Champion, I'd say, yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. MJF is at that level. If you told me Wardlow, I'd scratch my head a little bit and say, come on now, right? So it just shows you there's levels. So MJF losing to Wardlow, I think, would help Wardlow kind of elevate, which would be good for him. Angelo, you've elevated this show, man. Thank you, as always, for supporting the Ringside Report
My
Network.
pleasure, guys. You have a great night. I'll let you finish the show.
There he is. There's Angelo Contagonis, my main man out in Laval. Love hearing from Angelo every Wednesday night. He calls in on Wednesday. He's a Wednesday night regular, giving us a call. If you want to call us up, you got to be a member, just like Rob Cluse is. What's up, Rob? Doug Hepburn and Angelo. AJ's not a member. I see AJ's in the chat. Not a member, so he can't call. But he's on the show tomorrow night. So, he has to be on that one. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't deny AJ on that. He's not technically a member of the YouTube channel, but he is technically on the Thursday night MMA show. So I will deal with him tomorrow. Unfortunately, but I won't read his questions tonight, and I won't accept him on this show, John. All right? You're safe. You don't have to deal with AJ. I do. Just me.
Well, I would like to know if he's going to watch WrestleMania, because I know he was very interested about Ronda Rousey wrestling. So.
I'm sure he'll watch it. I'm sure he will. Tony Storm, I think, is going to be a game changer for AEW. I really think that AEW's women's division needed a star and a wrestler at the level of a Tony Storm. I thought she was going to be a massive star in WWE. She decided to leave. She wants to be in AEW. I think this is big for AEW. I really do. I could see her as a future AEW women's champion. They needed another, somebody. They've got Thunder. They've got Britt. They've got Jade. They've got Serena. They needed something else. They needed Tony Storm. When you got the Bunny wrestling on TV, no disrespect to the Bunny, but she's just not over. It's not even really about her being bad at wrestling or anything. She's not bad. She's not great. But she's just not somebody that anyone cares about. She's not over. They've done a bad job of promoting the Bunny. Tony Storm is a star. I mean, if you can make over $10,000 in one day on OnlyFans, you're somebody. You're somebody, goddammit. All right? So, good for Tony Storm. Nice to see her in AEW. You think she'll be a champion?
I think there's a lot of potential there. It's like you said, she has a great look. I think she's a pretty good wrestler. The only thing I kind of worry about is promos. But as we've seen in AEW, you can just hide that by someone interrupting your promo all the time. So that's fine. I think it could work out for her. The only thing I worry about is chemistry. We didn't see a lot of good chemistry tonight with the other women. Is she going to have good chemistry there too? Big question. But I think for the most part, it should be all right, I think.
I mean, who has a great match with the Bunny?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's really tough. I'm pretty sure it's happened once or twice. I'm having a hard time though. I feel like maybe, did Riho wrestle a bunch of times, and I think one of them was all right, something like that.
What happened to Riho?
She got injured, didn't she?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What happened to Sheeta?
She also got injured, but she came back recently as well.
And then?
Well, she's been on Dark. You gotta watch YouTube.
She's a former champion. She should be on TV more often. Meanwhile, the champion right now is feuding with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Thunder Rosa. Yeah, but come on. Thunder did a promo on the stage about being the first Mexican woman to hold a women's world title in America, and she's going to put women's wrestling on the map, and Nyla Rose, I'm going to get you, and da-da-da. What'd you think of Thunder's promo tonight?
I thought it started off all right, and then I felt like she got lost, and just repeated herself.
Yep.
And then it just kind of dragged a little bit. And it's like, all right, you can bring it home. We got the point. We're just,
Yep.
mumbling now at this point.
I feel the same way. Like, it started off good and emotional, and I was like, oh, there's something here. And then it just kind of fizzled out very quickly. It was like first 2 sentences, I was like, I'm into this. And then the third or fourth sentence, I was like, all right, is it over yet? And then she kept going.
Yeah.
And this is your champion. I didn't feel that way when Britt Baker was the champion. Her promos are good.
Well,
I mean, better than this.
It also helped that you had Tony Schiavone you could bounce off of, right? At first, like,
he
she
was there
making
too.
fun of Tony.
Oh, right.
He was there too, but
no.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Britt used Tony, and she's got Rebel and Jamie Hayter and all these things, and fine, but Thunder had Tony Schiavone tonight. She didn't use him at all. She kind of ignored him.
It's not the same thing, as you know. It's not even close.
No.
Like, he's there, whatever.
But, the Thunder Rosa promo is not lighting the world on fire. It's not drawing ratings. No one's going to tune in to watch Thunder Rosa talk. People would tune in to watch Britt Baker talk, but no one is going to tune in specifically to see a Thunder Rosa promo. No one, especially after this, is going to say, oh, everybody quiet. Thunder Rosa's talking. Let me hear what she's got to say. When Britt Baker got on the screen, you'd say, oh, hang on, let me hear what Britt's saying here. That's the difference.
No, you're right about that. But that took time, though, too, though. That took, like, at least a year, though. Like, it didn't happen right away. It took time.
Yeah, but by the time she was champion,
right,
it was there.
Well, with Thunder, I think you just got to give it time. I think maybe just keep it short and sweet, that kind of stuff for now, until you can have longer promos where you're more comfortable doing it.
I feel like every champion in AEW is the B champion, and they shouldn't be champion. Every single title holder in this company is a placeholder, paper champion, B version of what the A level is supposed to be in their respective divisions. Hangman Page is a B-level wrestler compared to Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. He is not on their level as far as stardom, as far as a guy who could be at the top of your company as a world champion. I love Hangman, but he would be an excellent TNT champion. Excellent. Imagine Hangman as a TNT champion. It would be tremendous. But instead, your TNT champion is Scorpio Sky? I mean, he's a B-level mid-carder holding the mid-card belt. B-level. The Jungle Boys, tag team champions. They are not even close to being the best tag team in your division, yet they are your champions. And old Thunder Rosa, at least Jade Cargill, is the best mid-carder in the women's division by far. She's not the total package. As far as the wrestling and the promos, there's still time and work that needs to be done, but she's got a lot more going for her than most people in that company. And she is definitely the best mid-card women's wrestler that they have. Soon to be one of the best main eventer women's wrestlers that they have, because that roster's pretty damn thin. And Thunder Rosa now is the B champion in a division that has Britt Baker, that has Toni Storm. As good as Thunder is in the ring, she's hit and miss. The more you see Thunder Rosa, the more you realize, yeah, she's very good most of the time, but sometimes she's kind of like, I don't know if I'll ever get over that Mercedes Martinez Thunder Rosa tag team match or whatever the hell that was. That was horrible. And when she's capable of stuff like that, you kind of wonder, like, well, and this is my problem with AEW right now, is that at every level, every champion is just not the best that AEW has to offer. Except for Jade Cargill. I mean, obviously, she's the best. And Hangman, and I'm not trying to disrespect Hangman. I'll disrespect Scorpion Sky because I really don't see anything there. But Hangman, he's great, but world champion right now, when CM Punk and Bryan Danielson exist in the company, hard for me to buy. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, tag team champions right now, when FTR and the Young Bucks and Red Dragon even exist in that company, hard to buy. And now you got Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley as a tag team as well, right? It's B-level champions when they could have their A-level people, and the company would be a lot better off if they just said, hey, we're going to put our best foot forward. Not that complicated. Don't tell me I'm wrong, John. You know I'm right. Here's John to tell me I'm wrong. Well,
Not to say that you're wrong. It's just, they're going a different way about it. Like, you're looking at, the best. They're looking at it, they're trying to build their legacy, AEW, and they're trying to make their own champions, people that haven't been champions before. Like Hangman, this is really the first time he's been on top of any promotion, really, right? Same thing for Jurassic Express. Thunder's been there before, but it took time for her to get there, and it made sense for her to get there. So they're making their own stars in a sense, AEW. Like, they have already established stars, and they'll get their shots. It's going to happen. Punk, Hangman, it's going to happen. But for now, they're going to work with the guys that they established. They took time to build up.
But they're mid-level. I don't think Thunder is the best women's act in the company, yet she's the champion. I think she's very good, but I don't see her as better than a lot of the people they have. I don't know. She's close to the top, but I mean, she's really not the problem. The Lucha Boys and honestly, Hangman, I think, is kind of messing with the ecosystem's off in AEW, We don't have a strong, champion that everybody looks at as this unbeatable force. Screws things up. Hangman did a thing tonight. The Undisputed guys come out. Adam Cole has the AEW title with his name taped on it, and the Red Dragons, O'Reilly and Fish, have the tag team titles. They stole them from, the rightful owners. And Cole says that they took the belts. They did not steal them. They took them. You can't steal something that belongs to you. And AEW needs a new era, a new crew to run the show. And then Kyle O'Reilly says he's got a message for the haters. And then he says he forgets what he's about to say. And he had too much champagne in the back, and he has to sit down. And then he does. All right? And then Bobby Fish.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was weird, right? It was just like, oh, okay, you're trying to be funny. He's trying to be funny, but it didn't work, and it just came off odd. It was just like, oh, okay,
dumb.
Yeah, good job.
Should have never aired.
No, it was terrible. Who cleared that? O'Reilly's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And Tony Khan's like, that sounds great, Kyle.
Well, that's part of the problem with their promos. They don't clear stuff in a sense. It's like they have a guideline, whatever, and they just, whatever they say, it's what they come up with.
Well, it sucked.
Yeah, it sucked. I'm not going to deny it.
This whole promo sucked.
Was the worst timing, too. Adam Cole started off fine. I don't know what the hell Kyle O'Reilly was thinking. I can understand why no one made him a big star in NXT. Off that, I get it.
Yep. And then Bobby Fish said some stuff. And then Hangman showed up in a Tesla with bullhorns on it because he's a emo cowboy or whatever, millennial cowboy. So he drives a Tesla, but they've got bullhorns because he's a cowboy. Get it?
JBL.
That was so stupid. That was stupid, too. I know people were like, oh, but I was like, come on. Are you a serious wrestler or are you an absolute joke? Because that's a joke car. That's a joke about his gimmick. Oh, he's a cowboy, but he drives a Tesla. Get it? Because he's like from today, but he's kind of like old-timey cowboy style. He's half Red Dead Redemption, half, Starbucks. Get it? It's funny. Isn't it funny? No, he's a world champion. Take him a little more seriously than that. Why doesn't he just come out in a nice car? Or why doesn't he just walk out? Why did he have to come out in a joke car and look like a goddamn idiot? Come out in the Tesla without the bullhorns. Tesla's, it's an expensive car. Yeah, sure. That's what you drive. You're a Hangman, he's a cowboy, but he drives a Tesla. But the Tesla with the bullhorns was like, ugh. I get it. That's his gimmicks. Get it? It's stupid. Isn't that stupid?
I thought it was unnecessary, but I think the whole point of them driving in was because he wasn't supposed to be there, right? So they just drove right then on the spot. That's how they showed up.
Oh, so Hangman wasn't supposed to be there, but he drove in. But he drove in by himself, right? Weren't the Jungle Boys not supposed to be there too? But they were there.
I don't know. I don't know if
okay.
they said that. I remember saying Hangman wasn't there.
Whatever, he was. And he attacked the Undisputeds and tossed them all out of the ring. And then eventually Hangman sets up Adam Cole for the buckshot lariat, but his friends pull Cole out of the ring. And then the Jungle Boys and Christian show up, and they take out the Undisputed Era guys. And all the champions. Yeah, well, who cares? It doesn't matter. I don't have to, like WWE's not going to sue me for using the wrong names. I'm not AEW. I could call them the Undisputed Era all I want. I'm going to call Aleister Black forever. And Christian, I will call Christian, and I'm not calling him Christian Cage. And I'm also going to refer to Big Show as Big Show forever. I'm not calling that guy Paul White. Fuck out of here. That's Big Show, man.
Isn't it like Captain Insano now, apparently?
Is it? I don't know. I don't watch Dark. Nor does anyone else. And I'm going to keep calling the Jungle Boys, or the Lucha Experience, or whatever the hell they're called. I don't care what their names are, John. It doesn't matter.
The Lucha Experience?
Yeah.
You're mixing up with the Lucha Brothers there, but...
I don't care who they are. They're the Jungle Luchas. The Lucha Jungle Jurassic Fest Park. Jurassic Park. The team. So they got their belts back, John. Isn't that great? I kind of forgot that they had them stolen, and already they're back. So the Jungle Boys have their tag belts back, and Hangman got his world belt back, and I guess it's all's well that ends well. It's over now. We're done with them, right? They got their belts back. They sent the Undisputeds packing. We can move on, right?
Well, of course not. We got to have the matches first, right? Battle of the Belts, probably.
All right. Okay, what else happened on this show? Moxley and Lethal. Moxley beats Lethal via pinfall after the Paradigm Shift DDT. That's Johnny North's match of the night. A Marina Shafir video package played, and I was like, why? And then later on, Jade Cargill was getting ready for her 30th match, and Mark Sterling has decided that it will be Leva Bates as her 30th opponent. Jade is not happy, doesn't think that she's worthy. And then Sterling says, well, Marina Shafir is the other option. And Jade decides that that's fine. And she's going to go take care of the baddies section and tells Tony Schiavone to cut the shit. Did you notice the baddies section tonight during the women's match? The Tony Storm and Bunny match? There was a baddies section, John, and they were bad. Bad as they want to be.
Yeah, I didn't recognize if there were any, like, indie workers. Like they
Just some
probably were,
ladies.
but I didn't really recognize.
I don't know what they were exactly. Indie wrestlers, models, Instagram personalities. Who knows who and what they were? They're the baddies, John. They're in the baddies section. It doesn't matter. I think half of them were the Bobby Lashley MVP ladies from when they had ladies just surrounding them for no reason. Maybe they got some of the baddies from them because they're out of work now, you know? Poor MVP and Bobby Lashley's ladies. Huh?
I thought you meant Lashley's like sisters or something, but
no. You remember on Raw when they just like hung out with a bunch of women for some reason, and they were never explained exactly why or who they were? You don't remember that?
That was like for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Wasn't
it was like a couple months, John. It lasted a while. They had ladies with them, and it was just unclear why. Were they their girlfriends? Were they just hangers-on? It was just they were there. Everywhere they went, they were there. In their little dresses, sipping champagne, having a good time with Bobby and MVP. And now they're in the baddies section, John. The baddies. Yeah. Is that it? Chris Jericho. FTR seem like they're done with... so Wardlow... Is FTR done with MJF? They got kind of mad at MJF after they beat the Ass Boys. Fans chanted FTR. I feel like this whole Wardlow thing is tearing the Pinnacle apart, and FTR is going to turn babyface. They challenge the Young Bucks. They want a rematch with the Young Bucks. They're going for the AEW Tag Team titles. Seems like a turn for FTR tonight, right? Babyface turn on MJF.
It's coming. Like they teased it here again. They've been teasing it for a couple weeks now. They didn't quite give it to us yet, but yeah, it's more than likely going to happen, and that's going to be a big pop for them. That's where I kind of hope Jurassic Express lose the tag titles, because if they're going to be faces, you need a heel team to take it from Jurassic. Hopefully Red Dragon.
I think Bryan and Moxley.
That could happen too. Yeah, sure.
I think that's the pay-per-view match. Bryan and Moxley. Like, they're together. They're a tag team. I think the belts make sense. But who knows? Who knows? A lot of things in AEW don't make sense. Chris Jericho and friends, speaking of not making sense, Chris Jericho Appreciation Society are doing a backstage promo. Big Magic checks behind one of the curtains to make sure that Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz aren't there, and they're not. And they keep talking about how they're not there because they beat them up, and they're not there. And they did the same promo last week where they're backstage, and they're like, see, they're not there. And they weren't there, except this time Hager's like, see, they're not here, and they're never coming back. And I'm going to open a curtain too. And then they're standing. Santana and Ortiz and Eddie Kingston are all standing right behind the curtain, quietly. They weren't noticed. Huh?
Can't see them. Yeah, you can't see them. Can't see their feet.
Yeah, real amazing that they were just able to hide there all that time. And then, of course, they all start to brawl with the Jericho friends. And quickly, it spills out into the arena. Like, they're backstage, and it goes into the arena. And you see Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, and they're brawling together. But the rest of the guys kind of disappeared. At one point, you saw Big Magic in the arena with Ortiz, but everybody else was gone. Everybody else,
right.
They were backstage. And then if you did the math, if you paid attention, you're like, well, if Ortiz is here and Eddie Kingston's here, that means Santana is by himself with Hager and the other guy. Angelo something? What are they calling him
Daniel
now?
Garcia.
Parker? Yeah, Parker and Garcia.
Was it Parker too? Yeah.
Well, Parker too, right? Parker was backstage. It was only Big Magic. Big Magic and Ortiz were out, like, ringside. Jericho and Kingston were, like, in the ring. And then Santana, somehow he comes out. And... Or no, Daniel Garcia appeared at one point, right? So Jericho and Kingston are fighting in the ring, right? Kingston hits like a spinning back fist on Jericho, and then he finds Daniel Garcia crawling around the ring. I don't know where he came from. Right? You had no idea. It's like Garcia wasn't there, and then he's crawling around the ring because I guess he got hit by somebody. And then Santana's there out of nowhere, and they start beating up on Garcia a bit. And then Jake Hager and Angelo Parker show up, and they, have a 5-on-3 advantage and beat everybody up. Where the hell were Hager and Parker this whole time? As soon as the brawl started backstage, they disappeared, and then they took their sweet time to get back to the ring and help their team. And then this beatdown from the Jericho friends on the Kingston and Santana Ortiz crew, it lasted forever. They just kept going on and on and on, and then a Judas effect. And it was too long. It dragged. This was a terrible segment. I didn't like anything that we saw here. This was all bad. All of it. Too long and just weird.
Well, I didn't like it, up to a certain point. It just felt like, it dragged. I didn't mind, the beginning part, whatever, because it's just a rehash of last week, but this time you got a payoff this time. And it's fine to go out to the arena and brawl a little bit, but it wasn't just brawl a little bit. It was, brawl for the next, 5 to 10 minutes, pretty much. And that's what kind of hurt a bit. I feel Hager, because Hager took the sock to the face, and I guess he was just selling it the whole time until he came out. I think that's what happened with him. Yeah, this was a mess, and it just felt like nothing was really accomplished here, but except for the same fact, they got beat down again. Instead of the faces actually getting their comeback here, they actually got a slight comeback, but then got beat down again and are, I guess, gone again for another couple of weeks.
Oh. Yeah, right? Because they got to sell it.
Well, unless taking a baseball bat 4 or 5 times to your back and head, it means nothing. I don't think we're going to see them next week.
It's taking forever. And I just don't care.
Yeah, they're dragging this for sure, yeah. I could easily see this be a Stadium Stampede match, probably.
Oh, that'll suck too. That will be awful. All right, well, that's what we have to look forward to going forward. Coming up on Rampage, it'll be Keith Lee versus Will Hobbs, which could be fun.
Should be good. Yeah.
Yeah, Young Bucks versus Top Flight. Could be good too on Rampage.
Yeah.
House of Black versus Uno, Grayson, and Fuego del Sol. Doesn't the Dark Order have enough members that they could get another guy 5 or 10 or -1 or Hungy or somebody to team with Uno and Grayson? Why is Fuego del Sol here?
Because it's not really a Dark Order thing. It's Fuego is the one feuding with House of Black, and he's got the Dark Order to help him out. That's what's pretty much happened here. That's the Rampage storyline.
Okay. Fuego has a storyline. That's smart, because people give a shit about him.
Promo.
Because he's going to move the needle. Fuego del Sol is going to move the needle. Come on. Who is this serving?
I'm not agreeing with this, but this is what we're getting for whatever reason. I think it's just to help put over the House of Black, because obviously Fuego's never going to beat them.
Yeah, obviously. So how does this put them over? When you're beating a total jabroni, you're just doing stuff that no one cares about. Fuego del Sol. Give me a break. This is why nobody watches Rampage. You can't advertise a Fuego del Sol match and expect people to watch. Scorpio Sky, Dan Lambert, and Paige Van Zandt set to speak on Rampage. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they're going to say. Pass. And they actually advertised Chris Statlander talking on Rampage. A Chris Statlander promo. They advertised this. This is the type of thing where you say, oh, Chris Statlander's going to do a promo. I better not watch this show. I don't need to see this at all. Oh, but wait, they're doing Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue in an Owen Hart tournament qualifier. You want to tune into that? No, I don't want to tune into that. I'm not watching this stupid show. Garbage ass Rampage. It's what's the difference between Rampage and Dark? What is the difference between Rampage and Dark? You advertise a Chris Statlander promo? You advertise this? That's not something you should advertise. Something you should hide. Hey, we've got Young Bucks wrestling against Top Flight. Hey, Bucks don't wrestle too much these days. They're going to wrestle, and Chris Statlander's going to do a promo. But the Young Bucks are going to be here, guys. And Chris Statlander's going to talk, and Sky Blue's going to wrestle Jamie Hayter. But we got Paige Van Zandt. She's going to say something and wear something pretty. She's pretty. So there's that for you guys. Hey, how about that? And then Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue in a match that no one wants to see. I don't know what the hell they're trying to draw people into. I don't know. I'm not watching any of this stuff. Rampage. Going opposite the Hall of Fame on Friday night. Fuck out of here. Although we're going opposite the Hall of Fame too, unfortunately. We're going to be back here Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't watch the Hall of Fame. Record it. Watch it later. Watch us Friday night, and we're going to do the WrestleMania preview show Friday night here, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 10 p.m. Eastern Time coming up. Friday night will be our WrestleMania preview right after SmackDown. Hey, the Andre the Giant Battle Royals on Friday, John. Aren't you excited?
It's WrestleMania SmackDown. We're getting 2 hours of WrestleMania on Friday.
I mean, kind of. We're getting a SmackDown on Friday, and it's before WrestleMania. One of the WrestleManias. There are 2 WrestleManias this year because why not? WrestleMania 38. We're going to torture you with this one. I think that's the catchphrase, right? The most stupendous WrestleMania that tortures wrestling fans. I think that's what we're doing. So 2 nights of WrestleMania this year. You can tell I'm hyped. I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with AJ and Freddie for Ringside Report MMA. And then, of course, Friday night with Johnny for the WrestleMania preview show. Saturday night with Johnny and my brother for the WrestleMania post show. And Sunday night, again, same crew for the WrestleMania Night 2 post show. And then Monday night after Raw for the WrestleMania Raw post show. And then
WrestleMania will end at one point. Eventually. Sometime in April, WrestleMania ends.
I think I just malfunctioned, John. I don't know what happened there.
You gotta get ready because WrestleMania Backlash is only a couple weeks away.
Fuck you, John. What do you do? You know what? Honestly, a couple weeks away after WrestleMania Backlash, I don't think I'm going to do a show for that one, John. I don't think it's going to happen this year, to be honest.
Let's just get to WrestleMania and see what happens.
Well, I'm not saying because of WrestleMania. I'm saying because I'm going to have a newborn at that point. I think WrestleMania should be fine. WrestleMania Backlash, newborn baby, who knows what I'll be doing at that point. So we'll see.
Let's hope we can get through WrestleMania at least. Wait and see.
We'll try. Doug Hepburn says, drop in a super chat. Thank you, Doug. He says, Dave, he becomes untamed when they arrive. They are the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed have arrived. You know? Fantastic. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Guys, do me a favor. Drop a comment under this video. Just say, yo, guys, or good show, or this show is awesome. Johnny is cool. Dave is the best. Or, some other comment. It really doesn't matter. Just drop a comment. It helps the algorithm. It helps people see this video. The more comments we have under the video, for some reason, the more people wind up seeing it. And I know you guys love the show, And we need more people to watch the show and more people to love the show so that we can keep doing shows. You know, comments in the chat are cool, but drop a comment on the actual video, like beneath the video. Comment on the video itself. That helps us out a lot. A lot. So do that, okay? Drop a comment. Of course, like the video. Subscribe. And click the bell when you subscribe so you get the notifications each and every time that they're on. All right? Drop a comment. Do me a favor for tonight's show. Drop a comment. Doug Hepburn, thank you. You're the Super Chat leader of the night. Appreciate you. And I know Angelo on Monday night came through and took the Super Chat lead right at the end. So, Angelo, you are the Super Chat winner for Monday night on the Raw Post show. I saw that right as the show ended. The show was over, so I couldn't congratulate him, but Angelo did come in and swoop in and take the lead from, I think it was Doug on Monday too. And Doug is the leader tonight, so thank you, Doug. And I'll be back here tomorrow night with AJ and Freddie for Ringside Report MMA. Yeah, there's a super chat from Doug. I don't know why the delay on our broadcast, but thank you, Doug. And that's it, and that's all. And I'll be back tomorrow, and Johnny and I will be back Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern for the WrestleMania preview show. Right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.